Concentrate power. You're in the Dogg Zzone for an hour. Come on. You know the number. 1-900 hot dog. 1-900 hot dog. 1-900 hot dog. Yeah, 9,000. Welcome to the Dogg Zzone 9000, the official podcast of 1-900hotdog.com. For over 4 years, we've been doing daily articles about deranged media with an all-star cast of well-paid human comedy writers. We use the only business model left that works, listeners like you. So go to patreon.com/1900hotdog to subscribe. You get all the jokes, bonus podcasts, Discord events. We're just such delights. I'm enduring web favorite Seanbaby, and my co-host, should any of the BuzzFeed 2008 Top 10 Epic Bacon Boys get disgraced or lose their life, he's alternate Epic Bacon Boy, Robert Brockway.
Ooh, them bacon boys die mysteriously all the time, though. I mean, fingers crossed one doesn't die tomorrow.
Be a real tragedy.
Really would. Here's a Brockway fact. I'm gonna kill Hunter Biden with bees. No follow-up questions.
I have none. I just saw a documentary on that.
I really look forward to the Secret Service call about that.
You might actually get contacted for that.
I might. And I'm going to explain in detail why I said that.
I can vouch they do not have a sense of humor. Even when they know it's a joke, they are legally bound to not know it's a joke.
In a week's time, I threatened to blow up a federal building and 2 podcasts. No one's called me about that yet, so that's good.
We're doing like a tie-in. We're doing a crossover.
Yeah. There's no bee kills in this. Sorry. There's no actual...
Hey, who is this? What the fuck are we talking to?
Our guest, you can hear him now. He co-runs the Gamefully Unemployed podcast network and is the head writer at Some More News. He's our old friend, David Bell.
Hey, I'm David Bell. How you guys doing?
Not bad. What are you working on these days?
I just watched the movie Challengers.
Oh, yeah, hot MMF action.
Have you guys heard about sex?
Huh.
It's nuts.
Start from the beginning. Just tell me all about it.
All right, so you get 2 guys and a gal. You get some tennis rackets.
That's how it goes.
You got to play tennis for a while first, is my understanding of it. And eventually penetration, I do believe.
Okay.
And then a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate involved.
Yeah,
like racial
familiar.
hate or just like normal hate?
Just normal sex hate.
Oh,
tennis
okay.
hate.
I'm sorry. You have to specify. I get
Is
sex
the racial hate
I'm
off
good.
the table?
It's hard to tell from the movie, but there could be. Yeah, you could probably throw that in there.
This is going to drag us way off topic, but from my manager, I've been getting a lot of like, these are the scripts that are selling these days. And I want to say 80% of them are about group sex, even when they shouldn't be. So like
that's really weird.
That's the thing we're doing. That's the next big wave in Hollywood. Like we had Volcano and Dante's Peak, and you're like, what's with all the Volcano movies? Get ready for all of the group sex movies.
All the sex movies. That's funny because it feels like what happened was there was all those think pieces of like, just the young kids don't like sex in movies, and I feel like just all the young people went like, the hell we don't. Let's get fucking kinky in here, and we're just gonna have a sex boom. Have you guys covered Deep Water, the Ben Affleck handjob movie?
No, but we bang chicks together all the time, me and Brockway. So
Okay,
I mean,
good. That's good.
Is it like that? Is it like the thing we do?
Yeah. It's just like that.
Where I tag out and Sean hits him with a Hurricane Rana?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't know what sex is, but we
The
know
hell
how
we
to
don't.
kick ass. I love that like so many of us from Cracked have gone on to find success, but you ask Brockway what we're working on, we're usually like, oh, I found a karate master who makes potions from ivermectin, and he runs a roadside puppet show, and I'm reviewing his pornography. And then you ask like like you or Cody or Dan O'Brien, and you guys are like, oh, I'm doing an expose on how insurance companies let 2,000 low-income minorities die of pneumonia every 40 seconds. And it's just like,
Right.
oh, okay, that sounds fun too. But so I'm glad that like when I ask you what you're working on, you're like, oh, I'm watching group sex videos for kids. I'm like, fuck yeah.
It is for work. Yeah, I was a 40-year-old man watching these kids have group sex in my office today. Just like, this feels, I don't know about this. I will say
This
for
feels
some
really
more
ordinary.
news, we're doing a bit on college protests, and I helped the shoot. And I don't know when this is coming out, but I had to show up for the shoot because we had to do a bunch of slime stop motion for our Some More News About College Protests. So it's just funny because it's like on paper, it's like, oh yeah, I wrote this long thing about, modern college protests, but also there's like a goo monster in it, made of slime, and we're trying to make stop motion out of it.
There's puppets. There's corn cream. Like, you make it fun.
Yeah, we make it fun.
Is the goo monster voter apathy?
You'll see. It's a big plot point. It's almost our Thanos.
I've been waiting for some more news endgame.
You know what else I've been doing? I've been watching Mountain Monsters. Have you guys seen that?
Hell yeah!
Oh, it's a pretty good show. Yeah, David, we do a podcast about that show, Mountain Monsters.
I'll have to check that out.
What is it called? I think it's called Mountain Monster. No, that's the show.
Fuck, can't be it. That's the show.
It's called Beekeeper?
Beekeepers, yes.
That's it. Beekeepers. It's Big Feats. Real quick, Big Feats. It's the real one.
I'm glad that you asked about the allegory of the goo monster, because there are some really intense metaphors in the movie we watched this week.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to navigate these, and I'm glad we're all going to be able to do it together. We watched The Beekeeper.
You can't even say it without me laughing.
So I just want you guys to know, you emailed me, do you want to cover this movie? I had already seen it twice in the last week.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I was like, yep, I'm good. I can do this.
It rules, right?
Beekeeper. Oh, yeah.
Like, let's make it clear. We're going to be making fun of this movie because it is the dumbest goddamn movie, but it's so awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think society is a lot like a hive. And everything can be solved through bee metaphors.
All you needed to tell me about this movie, and not coincidentally to get me to watch this movie like immediately, was it is written by Kurt Wimmer, who wrote Equilibrium. He is my favorite himbo. Do you know offhand what he looks like, David?
Yes, he looks like a man who would invent gun kata.
He does.
He also did Ultraviolet.
Look like that man.
Yeah,
he's a real screenplay hunk, movie doofus.
Yeah, he might have been bigged. Like, he feels like a 13-year-old who's been big.
That's because he's been beautiful since he was 13 and has never had to grow up. He is gorgeous. If you don't know who he is, Google Kurt Wimmer. Even like now, it'll give you like prime Kurt Wimmer, and you'll be like, oh my god, what a himbo. He gets more himbo as he ages. He's like 60 now, and you're like, oh my god, that's what Fabio should look like. It's not what Fabio looks like.
And he's living the dream. He's like Forrest Gump of films.
He should not be doing this, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good.
He writes 13-year-old boy ideas for movies, and they get made with big budgets, competent directors.
He made Equilibrium because he was having kind of a crisis of faith, and he went to a museum one day. This is many years after becoming a professional screenwriter at the highest level, and while at the museum, he had the epiphany for the first time in his life where he thought, maybe art could be good, and it just broke him. It's almost an exact quote. He's at like 40-something years old, many years after making a very good living at the most prominent artist job in human history, I would argue. And he's like, oh my god, are paintings good, you guys? And so he wrote a movie about that, and he invented gun kata, the gun karate they use in it. And he did that by practicing it by himself in the backyard while the neighbors watched him, which, God, I would take video of that. If somebody has video of that, I will give anything for it. I imagine he had to use rubber guns or finger guns. I'm assuming finger guns, and he just went...
From the neighbor perspective of watching this jackass do that, and they probably asked him, he's like, it's for a movie. And then like a year later, Equilibrium comes out, and they're like, son of a bitch. Yeah.
That's Kurt Wimmer's life. It's just like, oh, I can't believe somebody did that. Somebody once asked him what his dream project is, and he said, I have a prohibitively big budget idea about dolphins.
Ooh.
It's the perfect himbo answer. And my favorite new fact is about Beekeeper. In an interview about this movie, somebody said, now, in this movie, Jason Statham is part of a secret agent society called the Beekeepers, but he's also actually a beekeeper. Are all beekeepers literally beekeepers? And Kurt Wimmer said, yes.
Yeah. So if you see a beekeeper like out in the wild in this universe, they're an assassin.
No, you're thinking backwards. You're thinking square rectangle. You want to think rectangle square.
Because there is a funny part in this movie when, like, before they really reveal that it's a secret society when they keep saying he's a beekeeper.
He's
and they're
a
like,
beekeeper.
oh no. And it's like, oh, are beekeepers just like notoriously dangerous people?
Yes, Kurt Wimmer says.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, I wonder what the inspiration for this was, because it's pretty obviously he was watching something about bees and it just opened a corridor in his mind of like, what if bees? What if this was karate?
What if that's every revelation he has. What if vampires were karate? What if art was karate? What if politics was karate?
Holy shit!
And he's right, goddammit, it rules every time.
It's so awesome. So this movie, it's like he was going for a John Wick, way overshot it, and landed on Steven Seagal's script.
Yes.
And the closest thing there is to a plot twist in this entire movie is when they reveal that one of the characters is the United States president.
I popped so hard. I watched this movie, so I hadn't heard anything about this movie. Tom had apparently watched it, and I texted him, and he was like, yeah, man, Beekeeper. I watched this on a day off while waiting for my colonoscopy, and I took mushrooms. And so I was on mushrooms the first time I watched this, not knowing anything about the movie. Just thinking like, oh, this is like a middle-of-the-road action movie. And it changed me. It changed me by the end.
You thought maybe art could be good?
Yeah, I thought maybe bees could be art. I was
Are bees
losing
art?
Yeah, losing my mind.
It's going to sound like we're kidding. I'm sure we're going to be fucking with the movie, but it's a truly absurd plot. When I say Jason Statham walks through everyone, like no one lands a shot on him until the very, very final boss.
Yeah.
I watched the minutes. The last 10 minutes of the movie is the first time he gets hit. He gets hit like 3 times.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's incredible.
No, there's no tension whatsoever.
There's not even conflict.
He bulldozes everybody.
Not for a second do you even think, like, maybe Jason Statham won't make it out of this one. You're like...
No.
And it's not like a Reacher kind of situation where everyone, like, thinks they can take him. It's like most of the characters are like, that guy's not human. You can't fucking fight a beekeeper, especially that beekeeper.
Yeah.
We're all gonna die.
It's very much modern action, because that is a thing we now do. Like, I think John Wick was that like meta film where they realized like he can do this over a dog, and like we all know he has plot armor, so let's give him the plot armor, and everybody else knows it. And so this very much is like Kurt Wimmer's shot at John Wick.
I think it's Kurt Wimmer's slasher movie.
Yeah.
I think this is a slasher movie from the point of view of the slasher, and there's no final boy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's in a violent nature, but with bees. Yeah.
That's great. That's the pull quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he fucks up a lot of like police and Secret Service agents. Some of them almost certainly died. He kills almost indiscriminately.
He does treason.
He does a little treason.
Yeah.
Bee treason.
Well, let's get into it. It opens on like a very like weird contemplative like bunch of shots about bees. Like it's how you would shoot someone doing like ancient research, like tomes for vampire spells.
Yes.
It's the spooky lore and legend of the honeybee, the occultic power of the hexagon. It's just bees, but like it's shot like
the
you're going through an ancient library.
Yeah, a monster movie or something, like the beginning of like what are the new Godzillas or something, where they're showing all this like information on bees. Like he's an entity, like he's a creature in the movie, and he is.
You know what they were going for with this? What I think just knowing as I do Kurt Wimmer so well, he's my boy. He was going for like maybe look at all of these like actual historical documents with bees in them, like maybe beekeepers have always been a part of society.
Right.
And like
combat monks going back.
Yeah, man, you didn't like discover a conspiracy. People have actually kept bees for a very long time.
Yeah.
But he saw that and was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I'm unearthing the Da Vinci Code."
It's all coming together.
It is weird to see bees and go, I want those. I want to keep those. I want to have those bees.
What are they shitting out here? How does it taste?
Yeah, that was surprisingly good. Like you look at bees and you're like, what secrets are you hiding? And it turns out really delicious secrets.
Yeah, you were right. You were right not to trust him and to follow him for their treasure.
Yeah.
My dad kept bees, and he was kind of an inept beekeeper. He had an old suit that often let bees in, so he'd come back in with like a few bees inside his helmet.
And how many people has he killed?
To my knowledge, none, but like according to the secret government documents I found buried in a tube deep in the forest, thousands.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
And no one could stop him. Oh, my dad actually, it was a very slow man. And one day I watched a hive of bees kick his ass. He was out by the blueberries and the bees just decided, no, those are our blueberries. And so they formed like in a cartoon, they formed like a football shape. Like you could see the ball that they formed and they started stinging him. And so I ran home because I saw the bee attack and I'm like a child with long legs. I got home. My dad is still waddling away from this bee attack.
No.
He must have got stung like 40, 50 times, laughing the whole time because he knows what it looks like.
Right.
This swarm of bees kicking his ass.
So yeah, he's killed a lot of people. You know who was a beekeeper? Lee Harvey Oswald.
Oh my God, it's all coming together.
Yeah, my dad, Jason Statham, Lee Harvey Oswald, they've all assassinated bad offspring of presidents. Mm-hmm. We'll get to that. That's part of the metaphor.
Little did I know that this was going to go all the way to the top. My God. I do want to, at the start of this, the movie makes what is secretly the craziest offer. And I think most people don't realize this. It starts in Springfield, Massachusetts. I am from Western Massachusetts. This is not what Springfield, Massachusetts looks like. It's very funny that their first offer is the rolling hills of Springfield, Massachusetts. It might as well be the rolling hills of Milwaukee, if that makes sense. Where it's like this town is suburbs, and like it's not a great town. That's all I'll say. And it's hilarious to think of Jason Statham, fucking British ass Jason Statham, walking around the rolling hills of Springfield, Massachusetts. So that was a little treat just for me, is that reveal.
Fantastic. Just letting you know that, hey, we don't know what we're doing in any way.
Right. Yeah, it's one of those scripts where he clearly like opened up a map and just pointed to a city and said like all right, that'll be it. That's the city.
That's currently about a half hour away from where I am right now. Like I have a friend there and visit occasionally. And it's not just, they do have some hills they might be described as rolling, if anybody's like, whoa, I could. It's that it's not the deep rural woods, is what he's like. She's like, she even says, one of the characters will be introduced here shortly, even says, like, this is so rural. Like, I couldn't go to, like, a computer place. That's hours out of my life.
It's so funny.
No, Springfield's like a major city.
There's a fucking casino in Springfield, Massachusetts.
It's a big city.
Yeah. Yeah, it's big. It's very funny because Western Mass has like those farmlands.
Yeah,
you just have to go like a half hour in another direction. It's just not Springfield. It's very funny. It's a very funny immediate offer.
God bless Kurt Wimmer. He's still doing it. He's still doing it like they did in the 90s. He's just like, nobody has the internet.
Yeah,
I can do whatever.
Yeah, I'll just piss off like just the people in this area. It's fine.
Felicia Rashad lives by the Basketball Hall of Fame. And fun fact, she stood by Bill Cosby all these years. That's just something to keep in mind.
Really?
Yeah.
That is a fun fact.
A fun fact is during the press junket, they mentioned many, many times how Jason Statham did all of his own bee stunts. For why? Like, of all the fucking outfits to wear, like a stuntman could just put on a bee suit and be anybody. But Jason Statham's like, no.
Right.
I need to be a beekeeper for the beekeeping role.
He's method, man. He's like Daniel Day. It's funny to phrase it as bee stunts because all he really does is stand by bees a few times in the opening.
Sure.
There are impressive stunts in this. He didn't do those.
Yeah.
He did bee stunts.
Right.
He did the bee stuff. Yeah.
Also, I want to just point out that he and Felicia Rashad have a weird relationship. Like, I think they wanted it to be like a friendship or maybe a mutual mentorship, but both of the actors decided to go very sexual.
They did, right? Okay. I'm glad that wasn't. I didn't even write it down because I'm like, that's just me.
Yeah.
Nobody
That's
else
crazy.
is seeing that.
No, I was certain that was something we'd all pick up on.
They should have leaned into it more. I feel like the actors decided on the side of like, let's make this a sex thing.
Yeah.
They won't
Or
write
they were
it
just
in the
fucking.
script. Yeah. It's funny because it's a blink or you'd miss it friendship where like, because like it's literally one scene where she like walks up to him, he walks up to her and they're like, we like each other. They like basically have to just say to each other how much they like each other. And
I actually have the quote here that sets up all of Jason Statham's complicated feelings that he will reiterate later a couple of times in the movie. He says to her, as a little bit of setup, we open on this farm and I forget the character's name, but Felicia Rashad is like an elderly woman living there and he is the beekeeper / Dalton. He's the Dalton living on her property. And he comes up to her and he says, I just want to thank you for putting up with me and all of my bees.
I want that same conversation in like a high-rise apartment.
Yeah, he's renting a studio.
And the landlord would be like, "I'm sorry, did you say bees? This is the first time hearing that."
I meant to say bee's nests. I'm sorry.
But yeah, he's taking a hornet's nest out of the bee thing, which is a part of our bee metaphor. Sometimes there's a hornet's nest, and they'll kill the hive unless you take care of the hornet's nest. And then, I don't know why they show this, but he takes the paper bag of hornet and this nest into the barn and like kills it with like this MacGyver fluorescent taser that he makes.
He kills him with the taser. I don't know for certain that's how you kill a hornet's nest. When I've done it, it's with a spray can and running, but...
I was going to say a spray can will do it.
But to kill them with a taser in a paper bag seems real weird.
That actually seems like it won't kill them all. Like, that seems like a bad way to kill the hornets, but what do I know? I'm not a beekeeper. He's the expert.
The air in a paper bag conducts electricity is the thing, and that gets them all.
This also could have been foreshadowing, and it's not. Like, he doesn't electrocute anyone later, right?
Nope. He doesn't do any MacGyver shit, really. He makes a couple of traps, but for the most part, he's just really good at punching, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah, overall note for this movie is it makes offers. It foreshadows and sets stuff up, and then it refuses to pay them off in a defiant way. And we'll get into it later.
Kurt Wimmer has not had that revelation yet. Somewhere down the line, he's going to be watching like another movie and be like, wait a minute.
That's that necklace from earlier.
Things pay off? Holy shit.
This has the vibe of Kurt Wimmer doesn't know that you can delete words when writing a script.
Yes.
Nobody's ever asked him to. You just look into his eyes and you're like, this is fine, Kurt Wimmer.
Yeah, he just in one shot, like it's one day he just sits down and he starts writing and then he finishes and he's like, that's it. That's the movie. That's how movies are made. You can't like undo that.
And by his understanding, he's not wrong because people keep making them.
Oh, yeah.
So Felicia Rashad, she's a signatory on a big charity, and she gets a spam alert, and she calls the number on the spam alert, and we get the hackers. And this is Kurt Wimmer, like, seemed like he looked up scams or has been scammed because this is like 5 different scams all smashed into one that are like very real internet scams you've certainly heard of.
Yeah. In a classic office. Classic. This is what it was like at Crack.
Yes.
Classic tech office.
Yep, just a rave warehouse full of 80s business punks.
Just highlighting.
Huge floor-to-ceiling, multi-million-dollar screens showing rad CGI from the Lawnmower Man.
Every office has a circus barker running it.
A scam DJ.
Office, yeah, scam DJ is like, yo, we're evil over here. Hey!
Can we just paint this real quick? He is an actual scam DJ. He is standing in the middle of the call center, this rave call center, with a microphone, hyping the scam as it happens. Like, what, scam it!
It's amazing.
We're doing scams!
He literally has an air horn sound effect that he plays when the scam hits the beat drop.
It's incredible.
Yes. I love it so much, because the way they set that up, he's doing all the scams at once. He's doing the refund scam and the fucking phishing scheme, and I think he's doing a Spanish prisoner. He's doing it all. And then he's like... and then the movie decides, we don't get it. So then he almost turns to camera the main Barker, and he's like, okay, she's about to put in her super secret ultra password, and then we get everything she has. And then she puts it in, her computer goes off, and that's where we get the air horn.
Yes.
Scam.
And so she's a dingy grandma. She doesn't get computers, but she does know she's fucked.
She knows she's fucked because, and this is important, she gets a bunch of alerts, fraud alerts.
Yes.
And I just want to point out. So the bank
gets it. Yes. They're like, we know what happened. Don't even worry about it. She's like...
Yeah, don't blow your brains out over this or anything. You've been frauded. It's very simple. It happens a lot. We'll get through this.
She kills herself over this. She just immediately like spins on her heel and is like, well, it's suicide. Bam. Kills herself.
While making dinner. She's just like, you know what? I should just blow my brains out.
She was gonna kill herself anyway, right?
That's what I was thinking, is like, I was waiting for the reveal where she just like, oh, she had a bunch of other things.
Yeah, like she was a stub toe away from suicide, if that's gonna set her off.
Right, because this is the first setup that isn't offered or isn't paid off. Because they're like, it's this charity. $2 million from a charity. And she kills herself, and I go, oh, okay, the charity is dirty. Like they killed her, or she knew she was so in danger that she just killed herself. Something's up with this charity. Nope, she just killed herself.
She's just got 1 hit point left, and they took the last one.
Yeah.
She's just...
Jason Statham, he finds her at night. And so as a screenwriter, Kurt Wimmer's thinking, how do I get this beekeeper into her house to like find her dead body? And so he's like, oh, right. Bring her some night honey. So he's bringing her a jar of night honey.
That's a metaphor for them fucking.
Oh, yeah. He's bringing that night honey for her.
And he's like, oh, something's up. So he grabs a knife and then a gun gets drawn on him. And it's Felicia Rashad's daughter, who's also an FBI agent. And so, of course, here's a maniac in her house with a knife and a jar of honey. She's like, you killed my mom.
Right. And again, to her credit, a British man in Springfield, Massachusetts, I'm just not buying it. Not buying this guy walking around.
You're there for murder and nothing else. Maybe honey. So then I guess that's like it. Like they kind of just cut away and they take care of all that off camera. You know how the FBI, when they get the wrong guy, they're like, shit, we fucked up. You can go right now.
Yeah. A witness. They're like, it's fine, man. He probably has nothing to say.
Yep. Bye. He's free the next morning. He's having a drink with the daughter. And I wrote a quote down. Jason Statham says, it's hard getting old. You used to be part of the family. You used to be part of the hive, you could say. He should have just turned to camera and said, hey, viewers, get fucking used to this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this is going to get tied back into hives and bees.
I understand the world through bees. The world is bees.
Right.
Certainly the elderly are bees.
We were saying that he's the main character. I don't really feel like he is. It's everybody around him being like, what are we going to do about this beekeeper? And as far as he's a very simple man in this. Like he seems a little touched. Like all he kind of talks about is bees, and everything is through the lens of bees, and that's all he really knows.
Like, for example, he says stealing from an old person's terrible. They're left to face the hornets alone.
Yep.
Hold on. The full quote is stealing from an elderly person is as bad as stealing from a child. And then he pauses and goes, no, it's worse.
Yep.
Somebody hurts a child. They have parents. You hurt an elderly person and no one cares. This is him talking directly to the only intended audience for this movie, which is really fearful racist boomers. Like
of course, who's been scammed over the phone.
This is written exclusively. Like the scam thing, that's what a boomer thinks is behind every single phone call. Every point he turns in, like you'll notice every villain in this is like a different epitome of what a boomer thinks of as a young person.
Oh yeah. I don't want to skip ahead, but Josh Hutcherson literally skateboards into the scene in his first scene.
Yes.
They're all just the kids, and this is just for grandma. It's grandma's worst fear. It's grandma's movie. This is like if you inceptioned inside a boomer's head, this is what the universe would look like.
That's such a good way to describe this.
It's new Death Wish, where it's like, oh yeah, we need to make 5 of these, because it really is just like old people, like violence fulfillment of like killing all these young, like hip kids doing all the scams. It's beautiful.
It is. Jason Statham, now he's like back on the job. He's like, okay, the FBI agent says, oh, she got cybercrimed. And he's like, tell me more about the cybercrime. Okay, I'm going to kill all those guys. So he goes to his hive and gets his beekeeper phone, which is in the fucking hive.
Yeah,
he has to pull out the fucking plate of bees, and he calls up the beekeeper headquarters, and it is like a 70s detective office with the ladies on a TRS-80, like it's all like what a boomer thinks like a computer center might look like.
Yep.
But a good guy one, not the evil one where they have like actual technology. This is back when you had a Rolodex.
Yes. Hard cut immediately to Jason Statham going to the headquarters of the scams with 2 cans of gasoline, just hopping out of his old pickup truck. And he's like, to the 2 guards, he's like, oh, hi there. I'm going to burn your fucking building down. They're like, what? And then he insta-KOs them. Thump, they're gone. He goes up to the receptionist. He's like, hi, tell all the non-criminals here to get out. I'm going to burn the fucking building down.
Did you notice what he does there? He walks up to the receptionist and she says, you'll have to sign in. And he goes, oh, okay. And he signs in first.
He signs in. You know, he just drew a little bee.
Yeah, he signed bees. He signed the word bees or drew a little bee. Like,
it's a very, I mean, it's a very like old person thing to do. It's like, you got to follow the rules though.
Oh yeah, you do have to sign in. Like they didn't pay that off or do anything cool with that. It's just like, yes, you have to obey that. I hate how the children don't sign in anymore.
Yeah.
He walks right into the super hacker room and he just says, repeat after me. I will never steal from the weak and vulnerable again. They all laugh like, what's this? So he punches a man to death. Just thump, 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 thump. He's dead. There's no question. And now they repeat it. And then he starts pouring gasoline all over them. And all these actors have to stand there while they wait for Jason Statham to come down the row of desks and pour gasoline on them.
Yeah.
And no one can make this look believable. So it's just the funniest fucking scene of people like kind of wiggling in place while they wait for Jason Statham to douse them in gasoline. The main bad guy comes in. He says, "What are you doing?" Jason Statham explains, "I'm the beekeeper. I protect the hive."
Oh, of course. I know this.
And then just Jackie Chan's through 4 guys. He's stapler uppercutting. He breaks a dude's neck with a laptop.
He strangles one with the extremely flexible cord of a landline. That guy sells getting strangled with the most flexible thing in the room.
Yeah, that guy must have known he was going to die. He's like, "I'm just going to fake being dead and hope this Jackie Chan maniac doesn't kill me."
And these are just the guards, right? Like, these are a lot of people who are just kind of doing their job. And we'll get into it because there's other... It's not like this building is just this. It's an office building. Like, there's an optometrist probably next door.
Well, he told the receptionist to tell him to leave.
Oh, yeah. And I guess she did a really good job.
She's fast. She's fast on the dial.
No, but he's right in that these are just the security guards for the building. And they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And he doesn't kill any of the other like scam artists. He's like, you guys can all go because you said you super promised not to do this anymore.
He only kills innocent people.
He only kills the least deserving people.
Yeah.
And they make a point. They actually say after he kills them, like, no, they were definitely dead. Those guys didn't make it out.
Yeah.
I don't like all this moral objectivism. He, in the script, said to the guards, "You know you're guarding the evil guys, right?" And they're like, they made it clear, "Yeah, we know. We're in on it." So, like, it's in the script. I think it's fair that he murdered the security guards.
Fair enough.
Again, this is for boomers. We're adding all these elements of thought and morality, but it is good guys and bad guys. And the people in the movie will tell you when they're a bad guy.
And an optometrist office. Just saying.
Yep.
That office building. All right, fine. They got out.
He sets up some charges and he's like, "Next time someone calls in for one of your fucking phishing schemes, this goes off and then your whole office explodes." And the bad guy's like, "All right, guys, get out of here." But like everyone's unconscious, so he just leaves him to die. Boom, the whole office building blows up. 100 people at least dead. It's the best movie. They do say in the next scene that only 4 people died. So again, like, you have to trust what the movie tells you. But I think it's wrong about some of these details.
Only the security guards died.
There was at least 12 bodies on the floor, I think.
Yeah, you see him, like, when he's setting the bomb, you can see these people just lying there. And he's like, "Get out, everybody get out." And it's like, those people aren't dead yet behind you. They're not getting out. No one's dragging them out.
I love it. I love it so much. So I guess now we're at Josh Hutcherson, and he's in the most tech bro office. There's like massages and meditation bowls, and he's got a skateboard.
Well, he goes through in order all of the things that boomers hate about the kids. He skateboards in. He skateboards everywhere he goes, like he just doesn't have working feet outside of it. He immediately orders a fancy coffee drink, and then he skateboards over and orders a massage, and then he skateboards over and participates in some yoga.
He must vape in this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He does vape. You see him at the end. The president's like, "What is this?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's drugs. That's hard drugs for the kids."
Mom,
I'm vaping heroin.
So he's very clearly, his role in this, as we will find out later, it's Hunter Biden.
Yes.
He's supposed to be Hunter Biden, but he's also very clearly the plague from Hackers.
Yes.
And no other things.
Josh Hutcherson, he knew exactly what he was in, like what he was supposed to be in this, and he's killing it.
I love that we laughed at Hackers in the late 90s. It's like, can you believe this is what old people think? And it's 2025, and we're like, they're still doing that exact guy?
Yeah, they're still mad at skateboarding dudes.
At skateboarding hackers? Who?
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, there's like 60-year-old skateboarders now. It's really funny that they're like these young kids and their skateboards.
So this is only 85 plus at this point.
Yeah.
It's not just boomers. It's
They're playing this in a nursing home. Yeah.
And they're loving it.
Oh yeah. He should have done those wheelie shoes. Like they should have given him those.
Yeah.
That would have been better.
Yeah.
Jeremy Irons is in this.
Yeah, that was a shocker.
He's the former CIA director. Yeah, it's for the boomers. Everybody loves Jeremy Irons in the nursing home. So he runs over to Jeremy Irons, who's playing this character real casual. Like he's just a bro. And he's like, "Oh, Jeremy Irons, this guy in a hat just killed 4 people and blew up my hacker center." And he's like, "Fuck you, I got a racquetball game." Like, he doesn't care. I guess he's his fixer, but like, he is calling it in today.
He calls it, he says, "I don't care, keep me 1,000,000 miles away from your metaverse meth lab or whatever." Like the most, he's there, again, another boomer stand-in to just be like, here's some words I think of you. This is what I think of your shit.
Enjoy your Nintendo.
And then to leave.
I thought he was going to do something in this movie. Spoilers. He doesn't do anything.
He doesn't do shit.
He
Nothing.
is just exposition guy.
He actively doesn't do shit. Like, he will come into a scene and be like, "Hello, I'm Jeremy Irons. I'm not going to do anything. Listen to me, you, all the other characters in this scene. I will do nothing. Goodbye."
Goodbye.
It's incredible. The first bad guy that Jason Statham punked out left to die in a building. He escaped, of course, but now he's on his own. Jeremy Irons and Josh Hutcherson is like, "Dude, go take care of the Beekeeper by yourself."
Yeah.
So he had absolutely no chance against Jason Statham, and now he has to go up against him again. This is an insane de-escalation of stakes, because I don't think Kurt Wimmer, I think David was right, knows how to go back in backspace.
No.
So Statham's back with his bees, and the bad guys just drive up. They're like, "He's probably not here, but this is where Felicia Rashad lives." And
yeah, they're investigating their targets, and they don't even know that she's the person who invoked this.
yeah,
And it's very funny because they're just like, this probably isn't. Oh, there he is. And that's it. He's just there.
he immediately leads him into a workshop where he just turns on every single piece of equipment, all the miters, all the skill saws.
You're skipping a big moment.
Oh, okay. Oh, excuse me.
A moment that, again, I thought was like, oh, shit's just getting real. They never pay this back off.
Never pay it off. You're right.
They assassinate his bees.
With shotguns.
Yes!
The best
do a
weapon to kill
drive-by.
bees.
It's so funny because, like, I was assuming what was going to happen was that they'd never even make it to him. He'd just find them all dead of bee stings because, they shotgun these beehives point blank practically, and the bees just go, "Oh shit, scatter."
Yeah, they're in hive swarm range for sure. That SUV should be completely filled with bees.
Yeah, their windows
especially
are down.
the highly trained bees that Jason Statham raised. Those bees know karate.
No one gets attacked by bees, and this is like one of those obvious moments where you're like, have them get attacked by the bees. Nope. Bees never see justice.
So the next scene is in Arkham Asylum, a tutorial level, because Jason Statham just shows up, wrecks everybody. He chokes one guy out with a shotgun to the mouth.
Yeah, he makes a man eat his shotgun, on screen. He's like, "Here, eat this." And the guy's like, "I'm trying."
He takes another guy's rifle, disassembles it, gives him a tracheotomy with a barrel. And then he just insta appears behind the main bad guy, saws his fingers off, drops him in a wheelbarrow, and leaves. It's awesome.
It's so good.
And then back at the burning building, it's not going very well. Verona, Felicia Rashad's daughter, the FBI agent, she's upset one of the guys didn't confess to everything. So she gets real mad. She goes, "Nice shirt. Did you steal it out of a casket, you dog fucker?" Her partner's like, whoa, don't violate his civil rights. But he's serious. This is not a gag. He's like, you can't call a witness a dog fucker or a lead suspect. Right. But also he's her partner. He figures out that maybe the beekeeper's the one killing everybody because they just heard about the farm fire.
For what is apparently a guy who's been Manchurian candidated by the government to be a super secret assassin, he is not very secret at anything he does.
He tells everyone who will listen he keeps bees.
Everybody knows. My favorite is the way he tells, the partner tells Verona, because he's low-key my favorite character in this movie.
I love him.
His whole character is, "I'm very tired and I don't want to be an FBI agent."
Yes, and he has a family. This is another offer where they're showing look at him, he has a family. And I'm like, oh no, he's going to get killed. And that's going to be a big nothing.
No, that's why he's tired, though.
Yeah.
That's why he has a family, because he's very tired. And the way he explains that, there's been another fire, he goes, "Oh, you like fires, huh?" And she's like, "Yeah, I guess I like this one." He's like, "Oh, that's good, because your mom's house is on fire." And she goes, "Oh my God, what?" And he goes, "Yeah, shit's on fire. Let's go."
Who is this actor? Because he is my favorite in this movie. He is legitimately funny. And they didn't give him funny lines. He just is able to perform the lines. Later, when his gun's on the ground, he just goes like, "Oh, I guess that's evidence now." He's so funny because he just seems, like you said, very exhausted about the movie he's in.
He does not want to. He's unhappy in his job.
At this point in the movie, they do a full repeat because the guy now with no fingers calls Josh Hutcherson back. He's like, "Guys, I keep getting beat up by this beekeeper." And then while he's on the phone, Jason Statham belts him to his truck and drives it off the bridge. This fucking guy dies screaming like a marlin.
He looks like a Muppet getting dragged off the stage by a hook, like a stand-up comedian Muppet. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It is a great kill. That's what I'm saying. This is a slasher movie, and that is a quality kill.
It's amazing.
I love that when he first realized, when Jason Statham dragged him out of the truck, he says, "What do you want? Do you want crypto? Do you want NFTs?"
Yes!
Like, it's just the buzzwords that boomers hate. Those are the only things he offers him. Like, he might as well have offered him skibbities. Do you want skibbities?
Yeah. Baby, I got Robux, baby.
This kill, because he's on the phone with Josh Hutcherson. So Josh Hutcherson is hearing like a winching sound of like it being strapped, and then he just hears like, "Wah!" And then he's gone. And he's got to be like, "What? Did you just throw him in a tornado? What the fuck happened to this man?" And what happened was he drives the car off, then yanks him out of the frame. I'm like, wow!
It's a fucking Zoinks murder.
It is, God, it is such a funny murder. It is top 5 funniest murders. For sure.
It really is. It needs to be celebrated. And you need a national holiday for this murder of this truck just pulling this guy into the water.
That should win an award for sound design too, because that sound and like how they make it just Doppler away.
Next year's Oscars, no other awards, just award for this scene. That's it. And then we all go home.
Best fatal yoink, in a boomer movie.
New award. Incredible.
There's another wonderful boomer moment here when he's on the phone threatening, because now he's got the phone and he's talking to Josh Hutcherson and he's threatening him and he says, "You sound young. You probably don't have estate planning."
Yes.
Like all the boomers in the audience must be like, "Woo, estate planning."
Yeah.
Okay, here's what's great though, is Josh Hutcherson goes, "I'm 28. Why would I need that?" Now in any other movie, that would be enough for him to find him. He's like, "Oh, 28. And this kind of an accent, I'm going to get my hackers on it." No, forget it. Forget all of that. It's just to set up the closer line when he says, "Why would I need that?" And Jason Statham goes, "I'm about to show you
why you should do proper estate planning." Estate planning.
This is the moment that I was like, oh, this is a film.
Josh Hutcherson now calls Jeremy Irons to tell him what's happening in the movie. The super maniac who keeps bees, keeps killing everybody. And Jeremy Irons is like, "Holy shit, did you say beekeeper?" And it's like, yes, he said it like 15 times now. And he's like, "Oh, you disturbed a beekeeper. If a beekeeper says you're going to die, you're going to die." So he's now figured out this is super secret society beekeeper, not just a regular maniac beekeeper. And he's like, "Oh, you can't do anything about that. Sorry."
I like that even Josh Hutcherson at that point looks at him like, why the fuck do I care if he keeps bees? Because he has some resistance to explain, no, that's what we call the secret assassin. He insists, no, all beekeepers are very dangerous.
No one really explains that. It's a John Wick sitch, right? Where they just sort of throw us into this world that is presumably going to be important. Spoilers for that. And they just keep saying, "Oh no, it's a beekeeper." And no one ever says like this is what we call agents. To Josh Hutcherson, he has to like figure that out through context clues.
But they're also beekeepers.
Yes,
they are.
And that's why it's confusing, because you're like, wait, he is a literal beekeeper, though. And they're like, yes, he is a literal beekeeper.
Wait a minute. They all are.
Yeah.
Jeremy Irons calls Josh Hutcherson's mom, and they have a sexual past.
Yes.
And she offers him $1 million a year to kill the beekeeper. And he's like, "Nah, I got enough money. Don't worry about it. But you know what? For good times, I'll do it. I will take care of the beekeeper." He calls Minnie Driver at the CIA. And she's like, "Beekeeper? Oh, dude, you're fucked. Nobody can kill a beekeeper."
Minnie Driver, who I'm pretty sure was just at a party, and they showed up with a camera crew and said, "Can we shoot you real quick?" Because she never leaves this party.
$20.
Even throughout like long stretches of time she's at this party. She was shot out in an evening. It's very clear.
This was a different movie. She is in a different movie where there is a party scene, and it's just this. And you can see the cameraman like trying to hide behind some curtains between takes. double booked it like a fucking Three's Company plot.
She calls some people and learns that he's a retired beekeeper, which somehow makes it worse.
Had
So
free
they
range, though.
call an active beekeeper to kill him, and she's amazing. She's like a default Fortnite skin.
Yeah, she's every
just-
young person.
Yes.
She's everything I hate about young people again.
She came. If you've seen the when they went undercover to Burning Man on Reno 911, if you have, you know what she looks like. She's like an old person's idea of someone at a rave. She just drives up to the gas station, and when she slams into his car, he's admiring a jar of honey. Because that's the kind of movie this is.
Just looking at it, like thinking, God damn, that's good honey.
This is another point of the movie, one of many points where I said, "Oh, okay, I know what's up." Because I love screenwriting, so I'm always trying to like figure out the movie a little bit. Where I go like, oh, okay, I see. Because at this point, I was like, all right, this is the mini boss. This is the person.
Right.
We finally have like a movie where it's like, okay, this is the person who's going to kick Statham's ass, and he'll have to work up the ladder to like try to kill her in the end. Like, okay, we're gonna get that. We figured it out. The way John Wick, where they're like, we've called the new assassin. We're in the world. Okay, the beekeepers. The beekeepers are after him. Got it. Like, who can stop a beekeeper? Another beekeeper.
Right.
We have a movie. So what happens?
Okay. So she's got an M4 with a 100-round drum barrel on the side, which is triple unlimited ammo in any movie and double that here. So she just saws a cop car in half with it. And then Jason Statham appears and whips her just senseless with a gas hose, sidekicks her into a truck. She has no fucking chance in this fight. So she pulls out a minigun, and I can't remember her exact catchphrase. I remember. Fuck you! And just sprays the world with a minigun. But you remember that jar of honey that he was fondling when she slammed into his car? He throws it at her head. She's like, what is this? Oh, I can't believe it's honey. Ugh, get it off. And then he burns her alive.
Yep.
Because honey is flammable. They're at a gas station, and he throws a jar of honey.
Of hot honey. Throws a jar of spicy honey at her.
Napalms her with honey.
That's how it happens. She looks at all the honey all over, and it's like, what? And then he throws a match down, and she bursts into flames.
And she
gone. Knows she's fucked. Gone.
She's
he takes her index finger, cuts her index finger off with his pocket knife, and leaves with it. I like how different they are because Jason Statham is just a freight train, taking no pleasure in his vengeance, and she is partying. She's like, beekeeping rules.
Yeah, like those goddamn kids do.
Yeah.
They have no respect for the old way we do things. Everything they're into is so overstimulating.
This lady is introduced and killed within 10 minutes of the film.
Oh,
no
way less than that.
backspaces.
It's like 2.5 minutes.
And then the beekeepers, the official mini driver calls back fucking Jeremy Irons and goes, "We can't do it. We're out of the movie."
That was it. That was the one shot. Everybody says no. Goodbye.
And they give up.
Jeremy Irons is just like, what? I'm the guy that's calling you to say I won't do anything. You can't call the guy who says he won't do anything and tell him you're not doing anything.
The super CIA is just like, no, we can't do it.
So many people in this movie just call to say, I'm not doing anything.
It's like the super shredder showing up and going like, nah. I'm not into this. And it's like, oh, okay. I thought this was going to be okay. I guess it's not a thing in the movie. They are never. Mini Driver is gone. She's never seen again.
That was her role.
Yep. Why was this in the movie?
I really think he wrote a 20-minute movie because the movie should have ended after he killed the first call center. Like that's a complete plot. Jason Statham has no arc. I think the daughter kind of has a character arc a little bit, but for the most part, this is just a revenge story for boomers. Jeremy Irons now, since he doesn't have any beekeepers to help, he has to hire his own mercenaries. And
it's a downgrade. Like that's what's so funny about it is like you escalate up to like you look at the Bourne movies where they get other assassins and they're like, oh shit, other Bournes to get them. That's the escalation. But we go to mini boss and then back down to henchmen.
Back down to henchmen.
And Jeremy Irons tells them in no uncertain terms, hello, you're disposable goons. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, his speech to pump them all up is you're all gonna die today.
Before we get to that part of the speech, he does explain the movie's metaphor to the mercenaries. He's like, listen, everybody, honeybees are sacred. No bees, no agriculture. No agriculture, no civilization. This metaphor you can stretch in any direction. They even have royalty like humans, as Jeremy Irons explains to these hired guns.
Yeah.
So if anything's compromised, the hive collapses. So someone a long time ago decided they needed beekeepers who are super soldiers who exist outside the system to keep the system safe. It's like, this is like a very high child trying to wrap his head around the status quo. Like Jeremy Irons is explaining to the mercenaries that there's a secret order of mega assassins who maintain the status quo.
And it's
as if
bees.
there weren't yes, they're very bee themed. They're like a Cobra faction you haven't heard about called bees.
Yeah, they're like the overseeing lords of America, where it's like if they don't like the president, apparently they're going to beekeep him.
No, he specifically says if the queen bee has a rotten son, like that's very specifically said.
Right.
If they have a deformed male offspring, they might kill the queen. So it's like I monitor society to determine if there is a female president. If she has a shitty son, I get to kill her.
That's the metaphor. You're getting it. You're getting it. So one of the mercenary guys, he's like, Jeremy Irons, can't someone just call this guy and tell him to stand down? And Jeremy Irons is like, no, you fucking dumbass. Are you not listening? He's a bee. Bees keep working until they die.
But he's also the keeper.
Yes, he's also the keeper.
Kurt Wimmer, you fucked up. Oh, the first time in history.
First fuck up.
I had this note too, which is like, if he's like, oh, sometimes the bees kill the queen, it's like, but you're the beekeeper. So it's not your job. You're just here to supervise it.
He's a beekeeper and a queen slayer, which is a type of bee. So Jeremy Irons, when he says they work until they die, he's like, right, cool, like us mercenaries. He's basically one of us. And Jeremy Irons says, and I quote, no, he's not like you. You're pussies. I left some of it out, but he does say the word, you are pussies.
You're all pussies.
Imagine Jeremy Irons saying that to you. Man.
I'm glad we got that on record before Jeremy Irons passes away. That we have, so we can have a soundboard of him somewhere. You're pussies.
He totally tells them, you're all going to die. Maybe if all of you attack him at once, you can fucking give him a scratch.
Probably not.
But he's going to kill his way to the top of the hive like a bee. That's what he's going to do. And they cut to the FBI, and they're also talking about bees because they found a bee handbook on the dead beekeepers in the dead beekeeper's car.
90% of the dialogue in this movie is specifically about bees. It's all about bees.
People aren't going to get the metaphor unless I explain it. So the FBI agents, they explain that some bees are queen slayers who they'll rise up and kill the queen if she fails to produce the right male offspring. So remember that detail for later in the movie.
What's wild is everybody talks about bees constantly, and yet I feel like I didn't learn anything about bees at the same time.
I'm certain if I looked up any of this, it would be wrong.
Yeah, and they kind of just repeat the same shit, too. So it's just...
like, parts of it would be right, but never all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
That's a Kurt Wimmer film, baby.
Yeah, like, I don't think he read I think maybe Wikipedia, maybe, for this.
Yeah, at best. Yeah. I think it's a half-remembered nature special. He watched when he was a kid. So Jason Statham, he drives to the beekeeper base, and he uses the index finger to get in. It's completely unattended. He just grabs all the stuff. He gears up with some Kevlar cords, some flashbangs. He dot matrix prints some coordinates because their computers are real fucking old.
Yeah.
And
you can't even have a modern printer. Because that makes you one of the goddamn kids.
Yeah, that makes the old scared and confused. Inkjet? No, thank you.
At the FBI, they get visited by the deputy director, and they're like, oh yeah, this guy's a beekeeper. He keeps killing everybody. And the deputy director's like, what? Nothing. I wasn't surprised by that. I don't know what a beekeeper could be. That doesn't mean anything to me. So he says, you guys can have anything you want to stop him. But he knows it's useless. He knows what a beekeeper is. They go to another super hack center, which is the beekeeper's next target. And it is like a primetime game show. Like it's that Chris Hardwick game show where they play Plinko.
It felt like this guy, because it's like he saw the scenes of the other scam DJ and was like, oh, I can outdo.
Yeah, you gotta be even hipper. It's in another rave space and more cyberpunk lighting, more huge $1 million screens, but this time there's video game power-up graphics each time they scam someone.
Yes.
And it's over video feeds of smiling innocent boomers.
With like dollar signs under them. We took this asshole for $38,411.
Yeah, they have custom little power-up graphics. And then the scam MC is wearing an internet suit that just has goats all over it with the word goat next to it. Because they heard somebody say goat once and they're like, oh, that's for the fucking kids.
God,
he's wearing like that free money guy with the question mark suit. Like he's wearing like a Batman villain suit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's standing on a stage made out of screens, and what are those screens playing? Bikini babes dancing.
Yep. And he's just like, hey, I'm a scumbag!
Again,
Check
this
me
is a call
out."
center. This is what a boomer thinks is on the other side of every phone call they don't recognize.
By the way, I have worked at a call center.
Yeah,
I
me too.
wish. If it was like this, I would have never left that job. It was the worst job of my life.
Instead of like the basement of a strip mall.
Yeah, it was awful.
I just like the idea of a boomer calling in and saying like, hey, my computer's broken. And then hearing in the background like, yeah, scammed another one. Fuck the old people. It's just
Air horns. Excuse me, were those scam air horns? No. That was a boat.
No. The FBI shows up because they know the beekeeper's going to be here. And the mercenaries are like, go away, FBI. And the FBI's like, oh, God damn it. Okay. And then the mercenaries go up to the call center, and the call center guy's like, oh, look, a fucking invading army. How about you fucking suck my nuts? Get out of here.
The people there to protect him, they're like, boo! Fuck
they
you,
taunt them.
protectors.
They kick them out and they taunt them. Yeah, get out of here, little well-armed mercenary force.
Fuck you!
This is the part where, like, I think Jason Statham realizes at this part in the movie, oh, wait, I have God mode turned on. I forgot.
Yes.
I forgot I put that cheat code in. Because his plan is he wanders up to the army guys besieging the building and is like, hey, I'm Jason Statham. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah,
Kill
you're gonna fuck everybody
everybody.
up.
I'm not really into it anymore.
Yeah, he's like, there's no back entrance, so the only way in is to beat all you guys up. I'm sure you understand.
No one tells the mercenaries that downstairs a man just steamrolled the FBI. That is not information they get.
He's already teleported upstairs.
This is the funniest cut of the movie because
Yeah.
when they're like, get out of here, protectors, they leave, everybody's clapping, and they cut to the crowd, and Jason Statham's just there.
Just in the
With
crowd.
them.
He's been
clapping.
there all along.
So funny.
Yeah.
And to be clear, he didn't take them out like stealth mode. He grabbed their own guns and shot them in the body armor to disable them.
Yes.
And then teleport to the top.
Because, I mean, it's a very old person thing. He's not going to kill cops because old people don't like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he
They're-
will
they're
kill
all just
mercenaries.
Very
That's
injured.
fine.
Oh my God, yes. So Jason Statham's now in the room, and all the mercenaries have a gun on him. And there's another brilliant plan by him. He says, shoot this guy, and then sprints across the room while 20 special forces guys shoot him with a machine gun. He just hopes they miss. They do. They miss. He goes up to a ceiling and does like a Batman vertical takedown. He just like drops a little lariat down around a guy's neck through like a fucking light panel.
It is totally Arkham Asylum. You're right. And he jumps out of vents everywhere.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's jumping out of vents, hiding behind gargoyles. He grabs the main guy's gun and shoots 6 of his own guys with it. And then he like lets him go to take out his tomahawk to be like, okay, take out your little tomahawk. It'll be a fair fight. Knocks him out fucking instantly with a fire hydrant. Just no one can land a shot on this guy.
Not a single one. Not an exaggeration. Not a shot has been landed on him.
There's a detail we left out of this is that he also is a MacGyver. He does
Right.
not like guns. Every gun he holds, he disassembles. Like he always, if the gun's in his hands just automatically disassemble the gun while
Right.
he's talking.
Yeah, he'll shoot
We
a few
don't know
guys
why.
in the body armor, and then he's like, no guns.
No
but it's
guns,
not.
yeah.
But it's not like MacGyver where he's against killing. It's like,
No,
I just
yeah.
like to kill you in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an expert with guns. We see later he does a lot of shooting in the final scene.
Batman's a really good analogy in that both Batman and him are two people who look extremely noisy, who are somehow stealth. Where it's like, I never believe it when Batman's an event. I'm like, that's a man in body armor in an event. You're going to hear that, like, 10 blocks away of him clanking around. Same with
soccer
Jason
hooligan
Statham.
in event. You can't put a soccer hooligan in event.
Yeah.
They hate that.
Statham is one of those men who is impossibly flexible, where it's like, he is flexible. You watch Transporter and you're like, that guy can move, but he doesn't look like a man who could move. And that's a terrifying thing.
How many Stathams are out there just walking around?
It's like if you saw Russell Crowe do a backflip. It'd be like, I did not know that man could make that movement with his body.
I think Russell Crowe's getting the better end of that comparison. But I see your point.
Yeah.
Outside that one of the FBI guys has figured out what's going on. He's like, nobody can do what this man has done. This is obviously the main character in a Crank movie. We can't fucking hurt this guy.
Yeah.
So almost every single bad guy now knows that the main guy can't lose, which is great. I love it. There's a scene here where he goes up into an elevator and just like hides on the side, and all the bad guys go in and shoot up to kill him. And he's like, hey guys, you missed, right? He's just fucking with them. And then he explodes the elevator. And this is a Final Destination scene. Like, we're talking about it like it's a slasher, but the elevator comes down and bisects one of the fucking mercenaries. And then he has it rigged so like there's a rope like in the hallway that like snaps with the... You get what I'm saying. It like pulls all the guys down into the elevator shaft.
Yeah, they get away, and he's like, oh, no, you're dying today.
Yeah, it's all attached on a big old lasso.
Yeah, we're making some widows today, motherfuckers.
This is murderer's mousetrap.
And it drops them down to the bottom floor where the FBI is standing. So just basically, he drops like this pile of corpses exploding in front of the FBI. And then he goes back to the call center and tortures the head hacker with a stapler, like so casual. Like he's playing it like he's painting a fence. He's just like slappity, slappity, slappity.
He's so bored with it.
Like, he wants information, right?
Yes, he wants to know the next guy up. He's like, I've killed everybody. I just need to know the next guy to kill. He shows him a picture of Felicia Rashad in a rocking chair. I don't think he knows who this person is. Also, it's weird that he has this. She's given real bedroom eyes. I don't want to see the rest of that photo roll. You know what? I kind of do.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
I want to sell that scene a little bit more. If you insert the words ba 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 every time he hits him with the stapler, you would get the torture scene. Like he's just fucking around with it.
He's playing it like Nicolas Cage. It's really very strange. So the hacker shows him a picture. He's like, oh, they'll kill me, but this is the guy you need to kill next. He shows him a picture of Josh Hutcherson, and we don't know who this is, like, as a viewer. We just know he's a rich dickhead. And he's like, yeah, see, he's untouchable. And Jason Statham's like, untouchable? No one's untouchable. So he explains that sometimes when the hive's out of balance, you have to replace the queen. Now, you want to remember that.
Yeah.
I don't think I get it.
It's part of the metaphor. It's just an important detail. There's a weird part here I wanted to talk about, because we all like Verona's partner, the Iranian guy. I think he was in Bright. I think he was in the other David Ayer movie. Jason Statham just flattens him on the way out.
Disassembles his gun.
Just disassembles his gun. And he's like, hey, I have 4 kids. And Jason Statham goes, yeah, I know, 3 boys and a girl. And I'm like, what? He's a child wizard now? Because he had to break into a Beekeeper armory to Google data centers in Boston earlier. And now he just knows everything about this guy?
That's one of the most disturbing moments, because that guy, that's going to stay with him to the grave, where he's like, why do you know my kids? Yeah. Why do you know my kids, fucker?
That's never explained.
Just kill
it's
me.
Never paid off. You're like, oh, did he do research? No. We explicitly know he did not do research. I'm a child wizard. You should rephrase that. You're right.
I wanted it to be like a Mrs. Doubtfire situation where he goes home and his wife is just clearly Jason Statham in drag. And that's the reveal. It's like he was living the second life or something.
He's like, I made you honey for dinner. Oh, that's a weird thing for dinner.
Looks at all of his kids are Jason Statham.
Little Jason Statham's little British accents. Surly little British men.
Just doing Batman takedowns from the gargoyles. So Jeremy Irons tells Josh Hutcherson, he's like, okay, everybody's dead. Like FBI and mercenaries, everybody's fucking dead. Nobody had a chance. I tried to explain, no one listened. So now he says, you should call your mother. And he does, and we learn 1 hour and 15 minutes into this movie, she's the president. Like,
yep.
And when we say we learn, like, the movie knows, it goes, wow.
The president.
It's the fucking best. It's kind of obvious for at least the last 20 minutes, even as a first-time viewer, but, like, the first time watching it, I just assumed she was the president from earlier. And here, when they reveal it, I was like, that's so funny that's a reveal.
I watched this alone first, and then I watched it a second time in a group setting. And that setting, when like you said, the first 20 minutes, he does a terrorism. He blows up a building. You kind of go like, where the fuck is this going to go? And I remember someone saying, like, is he going to like take down the White House at this rate? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
At that rate, he will in fact, although they can't afford the White House, so they do like a beach house, but it's fine. It's fine.
I just love that it retroactively makes sense where you're like, oh my God, and that means the kid is Hunter Biden. Everything I, a boomer, hate about the kids.
It's so funny because the movie's like, you know, that kid Hunter Biden. He's like, what, 60 Hunter Biden?
Right.
Like, I love that they're looking at like that youth Hunter Biden.
That fucking kid with his drugs and his dick.
His laptops, yeah.
I want to talk about the masterful metaphor here, because remember, sometimes the Queen Slayer will kill the Queen. who is a kind of president.
Right.
Now,
Is that like in this movie?
it's complicated. You got to hear this. So listen, earlier they mentioned how the Queen Slayer would kill the queen who produces the wrong kind of male offspring, which, my God, corresponds to the president's male offspring in this movie.
Ooh,
Oh my God.
Do you see how they connected?
It's a metaphor.
So he's the bee?
Yes. And the keeper. Oh my God. It's just so fucking deep.
It is. Because are we all bees and keepers? Is that what all of us have the potential to be a beekeeper? Is that what they're saying?
We're all both the bee and keeper.
Holy shit.
The idea is he's a citizen, right? He's now a citizen. So this is
Yes.
he is a bee. You're right. He is a bee. He's
Oh my
he's not actually a
God.
beekeeper. He was a beekeeper, and now he's a bee.
Is killing a man with a stapler like voting? Is it voter apathy again?
That's like a sting. It's like his stinger.
It's a stinger. Yeah.
Damn it, Kurt Wimmer. I love you so much.
I'm so glad this came out before the election. This is going to turn the election. This is an important film this year politically.
There's a scene here I really like where they're trying to like lay it out like this is a real big political scandal because the president's campaign was funded by Josh Hutcherson's tech company, which is also the
scams.
FBI. Yes, the FBI also uses this software to like do voter detection or something. Data-driven analytics.
He explains it perfectly in a quote. He says, I taught CIA software to hunt money instead of terrorists.
Right. This is in their confession argument.
But I think what's so funny is in the movie, they're like, oh, geez, we got to keep this under wraps. But like if this happened, it would be both very obvious and also kind of happens all the time. Like, ooh, a very unethical tech company put a terrible person in office. Like that happens every day. And this movie acts like if it did, somebody would do something about it. And I feel like 70% of the media would immediately move to protect that.
If there's a director's cut and he showed that scene, you know it would be done by Josh Hutcherson walking in and deleting the word terrorists at the end of a sentence and writing money instead.
Yes.
Dun dun dun. That's how you computer.
Boomer horror that this is actually taking money away from terrorism and putting it back into like scamming.
Right.
Like that's the double evil.
It really is that boomer because it goes all the way in the election fraud stuff where they're like they're doing stuff with computers. They're screwing us with computers.
I don't know what it
That's
is.
why.
I don't want to know what it is. I just want Jason Statham to stop him.
So this can't be right, but my notes say that now Verona explains to the deputy director of the FBI that there's a bee called the Queen Slayer in beehives, and that will rise up and kill the queen if she produces defective offspring.
Male offspring.
I don't know why she would explain that. She further explains to the deputy director of the FBI that the beekeeper believes that the president's son is that defective offspring of a queen. I'm just worried that the listeners aren't getting it because Kurt Wimmer was really worried that the viewers weren't getting it.
Yeah.
That is so clearly, very, very, very clearly what Kurt Wimmer wrote down on a napkin in the middle of the night is like that one sentence that he keeps repeating. That's why he wrote the movie.
So now the deputy director's like, okay, Beekeeper's going to kill the president. You have a blank check to protect the president. But Jeremy Irons, independent of them, has also decided to protect the president and her son. So they're holding a presidential garden party, and it's just crawling with Secret Service. But it's also crawling with Jeremy Irons' mercenaries. So he, in fact, is giving the order. So he's like, tell the president to send the Secret Service to the kitchen. I'm going to replace him with my Far Cry mini-bosses. Speaking of, there's a South African super mercenary with a prosthetic leg. He lost it killing a beekeeper. He's like the only guy to ever do that.
And why wasn't he the first villain? Like, we introduced him at the 0 hour here of like, by the way, this guy's tough. And it's like, I don't know this guy.
Yeah,
You noted that the FBI has a blank check. That results in maybe 5 agents. There are no agents here.
He tells Verona, you guys have a blank check. 2 of those 5 agents are them. They're like, okay, well, we'll show up with 2 other guys.
We'll get a second car.
In a brand new Lamborghini.
Blank check, baby.
Yeah.
I like how our partner gets through the Secret Service. He gets out of the car and he holds his wallet open and goes, Federal Bureau, something or other, whatever, we're good.
Yeah.
Walks right past him.
And these agents who are told someone's going to kill the president today is like, yeah, that's probably fine.
Federal Bureau. Fuck.
We're not going to search their names.
You get it.
Scan any IDs. No, we got it.
So Jason Statham easily infiltrates this party. He takes a tunnel to a manhole to a skateboard to the bottom of a truck, gator choke guard mangle, replace the guard. Nothing to it. He just walks right in his balaclava.
Because the Secret Service, again, they know the president is in peril today. And they're like, do we need anything with this like manhole that goes right out into a tunnel to the ocean, to this open, unguarded area? No, why would he go through that? That's weird. Why would he? No. We need nothing
wet.
there.
He doesn't want to get wet.
Yeah.
He's a bee. Do you not? Bees don't like water.
Bees don't like water, exactly.
So Josh is doing cocaine in the president's office, and his mom comes in. I'm just going to say something. This is very similar to the note I had about Felicia Rashad and Jason Statham. They're flirting with each other, right?
Yep.
They have great chemistry. Great sexual chemistry.
Not the way they thought they would. Like, I think maybe they were cast independently and then they got together and sparks couldn't help but fly. Yeah. The director's just like, fuck.
I want another movie about their, like, love life. They don't have to play the same characters.
Yeah, that's Harold and Maude. Give me that reboot.
Yeah.
Give me Harry and Minnie over here.
Josh Hutcherson, my daughter loves Hunger Games. Especially the part where you take your shirt off.
Yeah.
Like this.
Action! Oh, Jesus! So the mercenaries show up and they're just fucking awesome. Just rowdy G.I. Joe characters to protect a presidential garden party. And I know how that sounds, but it's weirder and dumber than you're imagining.
It's so funny because there's no press here or anything, but it's like if there were, there'd be just constant like, why are there like rave dudes at this?
One of them is dressed as a skeleton. A neon skeleton.
And they're just hanging out with the Secret Service and the president.
There's a fedora one. There's a leather cowboy hat one.
That's just every like thing you might hate about young people, but could not be bothered to look up.
Yeah. Imagine if Biden was giving a speech and had one of these fuckers just standing behind him. We would never stop wondering.
Who's the neon skeleton?
Oh, I'm Zartan. These are my friends Tomax and Zaymot. We're here to protect the president's garden party.
Holy shit.
So the party itself has like modern juggling and wire dancers. It's like a Burning Man financier party. Like
it reminds me, this is a weird reference, but in Star Trek, and specifically Deep Space Nine, anytime they need a party, they usually just get contact jugglers and just have them like scattered throughout. And they're like, see, it's a party.
Yeah, and
it's a Star Trek party.
I think I saw a Devo hat. Like, there's a lot of hair dye.
Yeah.
I want to say that the set designer was told, make it look like an expensive party, and they were allowed no follow-up questions. So there's men in suits, there's the fucking president, there's the entirety of Cobra's, like, lieutenants, and then just a bunch of Burning Man extras.
And again, at this point, they're like, a beekeeper's after the president. That's like a Final Destination. It's like death. And they're like, let's have a party. A lot of open windows.
A lot of strangers.
A lot of strangers. Let's make it like a masquerade party. Fuck it. Let's have some masks. Like, it felt like they were just leaning into it of like, yeah, let's get this president killed. Fuck it.
To make matters worse, there's a guy at the party that looks exactly like Jason Statham.
That's the funniest fucking thing in the world.
Because there are kind of a lot of guys.
Sure.
Yeah, but
I guess.
He's got the same facial hair.
Same suit. Everything.
I believe that's literally a Spaceballs gag.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's his stunt man. You're right.
Yeah. So Jason Statham, he emerges from behind a magician to nod at the FBI. He's like, hey, I'm here at the party. They're like, oh shit, there he is. And then they like pull a bunch of guns on the guy that looks like him. I don't know if this was part of Jason Statham's plan or just the Spaceballs joke.
I like to think maybe he was at the party. He saw that guy and he was like, what are the odds?
This will be so funny.
I have to do something with this. Yeah.
It does not help his plan. He's right outside. He lets all the maniacs pull guns on him.
Yeah, this is his plan, I guess.
And it's not a great plan because sure enough, the South African guy's like, well, I'm just going to shoot him in the head. And the FBI's like, hey, you can't just murder him in front of all these people. And he's like, fuck you, I can.
In the president's house.
Yes, in the president's house, I'm going to commit this murder.
And he gets the nod from Jeremy Irons. And then this is one of those moments where it's like, all he has to do is kill him. Jason Statham's plan will go wrong if all he talks for like a minute. And it's like, just pull the trigger, man. And I'm imagining it on the news where they're like, a man was shot at the president's house and they show the man, the killer, and it's this guy.
Yes.
And again, we'd have so many questions of like, what was happening?
Yes, a 90s pro wrestler was seen massacring a guest at the president's garden party. A beekeeper. So since he's a beekeeper, the guy says, to be or not to be? Isn't that the bloody question? Now, I had the subtitles on, so I want to make it clear that this is be like the bug, not like the Shakespeare quote. Don't you fucking dare think it's not.
I think he says that. I think he carries that E. To be or not to be.
He makes it extremely clear that that's what he's doing. And then Jason Statham's like, I choose to be. He doesn't really like end the line very well, but he does explode like a car bomb behind him and then kills every single elaborately costumed mercenary. Just like grabs the handgun, pop, pop, pop. Every single guy in the face, including the South African guy, but he's fine. He's just grouchy about the hole in his cheek.
He absolutely got shot in the head.
He's fine though. He's pissed off, but he's fine. Oh,
it's incredible.
And then he just walks right through the last of the mercenaries and Secret Service guys. He's just like nothing even slows him down. And then they cut to the president in the office with her son and the deputy director of the FBI. And they're doing storytelling, but fucking why? Who cares? We are deep into the climax of the scene. And they're like, yeah, right. But like, maybe we need to explain the plot some more. So they're trying to do that.
Fight confession, where they're arguing, confessing. And they're just saying like, yeah, no, I did these scams to pay for. And the FBI guy is there and they're like, you didn't hear any of this. And I'm like, I'm pretty certain. And here's the thing is that my mind is going, okay, I see what they're doing. They're confessing. It's sweaty as hell, but they're confessing so that when Statham wins, the FBI guy will be like, I didn't see anything. You go off, Beekeeper. No, the FBI guy gets killed by Josh Hutcherson. No one hears the confession. So that by the end of this movie, Statham is just a maniac who tried to kill the president. No one will ever learn. I guess the president, for some reason, is like, I'm going to confess. I'm going to tell America I have decided I'm going to be an Aaron Sorkin character, and I'm going to confess to everything because I believe in this country suddenly.
Well, the reason is so that it can be entirely Hunter Biden's fault. Like, that's Kurt Wimmer saying, hold on, at the last minute, I'm going to both sides it and be like, no. All of the presidents rule. It's only Hunter Biden who sucks. It's only the kids. She
does explicitly say, I do not want to do bad things. I did not know all of these bad things were happening. I want to help the world. I tried to break up the company to help others. Like she's kind of it's all cartoon. It almost seems sarcastic. She's so cartoonishly benevolent.
For the record, Statham doesn't hear any of this.
Nope.
He doesn't know that she has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, we're just missing the good part while this shit is happening.
Yeah, we know. It's one of those things where, like, if the audience knows, that's good enough. But it's like, no, other characters need to know certain things in order to make decisions.
So this next part I really, really like because Statham is killing his way through. Like, if it's a mercenary, you can tell because they have, like, a funny outfit on and he murders them. And then if it's a Secret Service agent, he'll just maim them. And he, like, goes back and forth. And it's kind of awesome. Like it's a awesome. Really well choreographed, awesome fight scene. I don't know if we made it clear that the fights are really good in this movie.
Well, I take issue with your use of the word fight because I would argue the only fight that happens is about to happen.
Right,
that is the only actual fight. Yeah, the rest of the movie, I would argue, are assaults.
They're really good wartime events that he has memorized.
An ocean of violence tearing helpless people into the depths.
Yes. But we do finally get a fight.
Yes. And it's fucking awesome.
Yes.
He gets greeted with a fucking South African brass knuckles punch to the face. And this dude is just a beast. He's way stronger. He's just shoving Jason Statham around. Then Jason Statham spits up some blood and then comes back up with a shard of glass to the gunshot wound to the face. And all it does is make this guy tougher. He's like, that's a reverse weak spot, buddy. I'm hulking out now.
Just to let you all know, this is where I was peeking on those mushrooms and I saw God. This is going to shape the rest of my life.
How could it not?
Is it specifically the scene where he stabs the South African guy after knocking his leg off and then starts dragging a one-legged man around so the one-legged man has to hop to keep up with the knife wound?
Where the fight becomes an assault.
Yes. He kicks his leg off, takes his brass knuckles off of his hand, stabs him in the heart, drags him by the heart.
So that he has to hop.
Yes. And then he slash, collarbone stab, brass knuckle uppercut, I still wasn't sure this guy was dead. I'm like, this guy's going to do a Die Hard reappear.
The brass knuckle, by the way, is when he gets the guy on his knees and his fist like loosens, and the brass knuckles, they do the shot and they kind of slip off of his hand right onto Jason Statham. So I was like,
it's a little erotic.
Awesome.
It's a little like, if the president and her son had that moment, like, that'd be powerful.
Remember, Jeremy Irons is in this. So as Jason Statham is done killing everybody, he runs into Jeremy Irons, and Jeremy Irons is like, hey, maybe don't do this. I don't think you should go kill the president's son, or maybe the president if that's what you're going to do. And so he's like, I'm not going to let you do it. He stands in the way of the breach charge. And Jason's like, just like snaps his fingers and throws him in the trash. Like, it's just like...
he's set up as like at least the secondary antagonist, and his final moment is saying, hey, please.
I was so hoping that it would be Jeremy Irons in the hallway, and he just like takes off his shirt and he's ripped.
Right.
And he's like, let's fucking do this.
Hell yeah.
But no, he just bends his hand awkwardly, and he's like, oh.
It's just a very old man. Ow.
And so now, the climax of the movie, Jason Statham explodes into the office after the deputy director of the FBI gets murdered by Josh Hutcherson. Josh Hutcherson takes his mom, the president of the United States, as a human shield. So
his mother that he seems to love, honestly, he seems to have a good relationship. He wants to fuck her. It's clear.
Yep. They love each other. And he has her at gunpoint. And now here comes Verona, the FBI agent. And she has Jason Statham at gunpoint. And he says, do you work for the law or for justice? And so Josh Hutcherson knows how compelling an argument this is. He's like, oh, God damn it, I'm going to lose. So he hatches a new scheme. He's going to murder his mother. He puts the gun to his mom's head. I don't know what the fuck he's planning here, but he's going to execute the president of the United States to get out of this sticky situation.
Somehow that equals.
He says like, fuck it, bye, mom.
And so Jason Statham, quick draw headshot. Pop! Josh is dead. Then he jumps out the window. Verona decides not to shoot him, because she's decided she works for justice. That's the character arc of the movie, is the side character learns that maybe there's like a gray area to the law.
Right. And Jason Statham doesn't kill the president after all, for some reason.
Yep. Well, she's a good guy. She revealed that she's actually...
in the scene that he wasn't there for, but yes.
But he knows. Yeah. All bees know when the queen is actually good, and it's their offspring that's foul.
By beekeeper law. You think, okay, this is a great way to end the movie. Just vanishes into the shadows. No. We got just one more little beat to do. He got some scuba gear out of the sand. We watch him put on the whole scuba gear outfit.
Yeah, no one's out there. No Secret Service. Nothing. He's had that backpack out there. It's where he started. I'm pretty sure where that like sewer was.
Absolutely nobody looks cool walking down to the water in gigantic swim fins. Nope. You can't help but look like a drunk penguin. And that's the last scene of the movie. It's just waddling.
They have to show that he swims away just like a bee. Just like a bee swims away.
He's returning to the ocean as all bees
seriously,
do.
I was waiting for him to put on a jetpack in this scene or something. Like, put on a little striped shirt and jetpack and be like, I'm a bee. Bzz. No.
What if he disappeared into a crowd? Just another drone.
He should have just walked down a hexagon-shaped tunnel into, like, a bright light. Like what am I, a fucking genius? I just came up with that. But instead, we watch him, like, penguin walk into the ocean. Well, we cut back to a bunch of confused Secret Service agents just, like, wandering the beach. Like, hey, where is he, boss? Where'd he go? The end. Like, cut to fucking credits. Like, what?
It pans up a little, and a bee does fly by. Because at the last minute, because he can't hit delete, he thought, oh, it should end on, like, a bee symbolism.
I didn't even fucking notice that. I'm going to be honest with you. You might have been high. I don't think that happened.
It did. I
think he just wrote the letter B at the end and trusted the director to fill it in.
Because I think it's like he can't hit backspace. And he's like, I should have had a B ending. I'll just have a B flyover. And that's it. Credits.
Good enough.
It's blink or you miss it.
I'm handsome enough to write that.
Buzz is by in a way where I'm like, I'm not even sure if that was added in post. Like, that looked legit. Looked like that maybe they released a B for the last shot. I don't know.
Little trained bee.
Bee might have just flown by as though to bless the movie with its presence.
Did you check the credits for a bee wrangler? I guess there would have had to have been one anyway.
There is a credited beekeeper in the credits. Who's the real hero?
And it's Jason fucking Statham.
Einstein, who did Frankfurt? Einstein, who